I'm going to start recording now. And to get started, we will be talking to John Garcia from the SBA. Some things
He knows it's on the porch.
Once again, Dion, I need you to mute everybody if you would. Gotta love technology. So just a couple of things I need you guys to know about. The National Restaurant Association is putting together an economic impact survey, and I really need you guys to go out and take this survey because they're going to send the information back to us, and it's information that we'll be able to share with our legislators and the governor. So the more information we can get from you all, the better. We also have our own survey, but it's more for what are you doing and how can we promote you. This is goes directly to the Department of Labor site on how Families First, which is the first package the federal government passed, how that's going to affect you and how you can use it to your advantage. So this is our survey. If you have employees that are coming to work, you're going to want to use this essential critical infrastructure letter. Basically, this is a letter that your employees can carry in case somebody pulls them over and says, how come you're out? Why are you not sheltering in place? They can use this letter to prove that they are essential and critical employees. So don't forget to download that letter. Tools for implementing the FDA guidelines. We'll be working with some of that a little bit later in the call. As you guys know, we do have coronavirus resources all over our website. Actually, they're all in one place on our website. There's a lot of them. If you need help getting through all of that, please don't hesitate to call our office. Terry is still taking phone calls and we do answer our phone. And then we have these daily conference calls at 3 p.m. every day. So I just, I wanna thank you all for being here and want to keep the call going too. I got a call this morning from the Secretary of Workforce Development. We have been asking them to take the pressure off of our employers because of all of the layoffs we've had. Employers are afraid to lay off their employees because they know that their accounts are going to get dinged for this. Finally, we got instruction from Bill McCamley this morning that they are going to, what did he call it? They're going to socialize this over all accounts. It will not just be the restaurant accounts that are laying off people. So I think that gives us a little bit of breathing room when we're in this layoff mode to know that at least the state is listening to us. What he told me is they're hoping against hope that the federal government will come in with money for these unemployment accounts that are going to be devastated really by this unprecedented layoff. And he told me that by the end of this week, they're expecting to have about 40,000 people laid off. And he said also that that was mostly in our industry. So again, my heart breaks for you. I'm sorry that we're having to go through this, but we're going through it together, and as much information as we can get you, we will. So again, if John Garcia is on the call, if you would come on and unmute yourself. So I didn't call John this morning, but I did talk to him yesterday. Let me see if I can get him on the call. Dion, while I'm doing this, do you mind taking over? Do you have information for folks maybe about the Serving New Mexico Fund that you could talk about?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So we want to give you a few announcements of things you guys can do right away. We are on Facebook as well and have started a group. It's called New Mexico Restaurant Resources. So we need all of you to sign into that group as well, because it's allowing us a great means to exchange ideas and go back and forth on what's working and what isn't for people.
Could you say that again?
We'll also be
What's the name of the Facebook?
New Mexico Restaurant Resources.
Okay.
So the Restaurant Association has started that, and it's manned by our staff. It's also in the chat box here as well. I'm also really proud to announce that our Serving New Mexico Fund is now going to be able to start to accept applications to help restaurant workers. So we will be getting a press release about that out late this afternoon. And that information is available on our website as well, where displaced workers can apply for a grant just to help them with rent and utilities and those kinds of things that, you know, even just food for themselves that all of our employees are facing right now. We do have our first big promised check for that from the Greater Santa Fe Restaurant Association, which is our chapter down in Santa Fe. They have committed $10,000 to get us started, which is going to allow us to start at least accepting applications right away. And we do have some other verbal commitments from some other corporations as well, but we are going to be able to take individual donations too. We also want to encourage you guys to attend these calls every weekday at 3 p.m. We should have kind of a designated topic each day, but as we know, everything is changing day by day. So just like maybe John was called away for a call, perhaps, we're hoping that he can get on with us as soon as he can.
So the other thing I want you guys to know about, tomorrow, this call, we have Shamrock Foods has put together some interesting things that restaurants are doing in other states and other cities. And so we're gonna have them come on and talk to us about what's happening around the country with, you know, the takeout and delivery only. We also, on Friday, we're going to have our attorney, Antonia Roybaum-Mack, come on and talk to us about deciphering the federal bills that are going through right now. She called me this morning and said she had it on good authority that we were going to get some great things out of the bill that's going through right now. I was on a call just previous to this with the National Restaurant Association, and they're assuring us that there are, again, good things coming out of the bill that's going through right now that should help restaurants specifically. So just stand by. We'll have a lot of information for you on Friday about that. And I have called John Garcia, and I don't see him here. My apologies, everybody. Let me see if, John, are you on? I just unmuted a John. I don't know if that's probably not the right John. John Garcia, if you're on, can you unmute yourself? And I do not see John. So my apologies, everybody. I called him and I didn't get anybody. So we'll keep looking for him. And in the meantime, let's ask and answer some questions. If you have questions, If you could unmute yourself, we'd be happy to answer those questions. You can also chat them. If you would like, it's a little easier if you put your questions in the chat. You can raise your hand. I'm not great at getting to people who raise their hand just because I'm not watching that particular piece right now. So ask questions if you have questions. Pretty much all I'm doing with my day is getting on a lot of conference calls and trying to get information out of the state government, the federal government, and then I'm comparing what's happening in a lot of states to what we're doing here. We are preparing a liquor delivery alert for you all to send to your legislators here in New Mexico. Almost every other state has gotten liquor delivery. Our governor says that she can't do that because it's against the law. And our legislators are not meeting right now, so they can't do anything about that until they call a special session. I'm hoping to put pressure on them to do something by doing this campaign. And so be looking for that to come out in our emails on at least certainly by tomorrow, and we'll have it on social media as well. So that's our phone to action campaign this week. We'll be asking the governor to allow us to deliver and allow takeout liquor.
Carol, this is Allison. If I just may on that one point, just for the benefit of the group, we have sent a letter to the governor's staff asking for that, but definitely with the campaign following up on that original ask would be very beneficial.
So again, send this out not just to yourselves, we'll get it to you, but if you could get it out to your employees, that would be helpful too. They're a little bit better on social media than we are. They can get that going pretty far and wide. And the Serving New Mexico campaign too, I just want to say that that's something that is going to benefit our employees. So don't hesitate to send it out to them and ask them to, because I know their friends and family and everybody around is asking, what can we do to help you? And this fund is just one of those things. And I certainly appreciate the Greater Santa Fe Restaurant Association for starting that fund with a $10,000 donation. That's just absolutely wonderful of them, and more credit to them. So those are our two big pushes right now, is getting liquor delivery and getting money into that fund for our employees. The other thing that happened today was the Environment Department emailed us about some frequently asked questions. That they're getting a lot of questions, and I just wanted to pull this up for you. So that you can see where to go. This is the New Mexico Environment Department. On their food program page, there's a link to frequently asked questions, and that takes you to these frequently asked questions. If you guys don't give me any questions, I'm going to read these to you. No, I'm just kidding. But these are things that people are asking. Can I have more than 5 employees in my work establishment? Yes, you can. You're not limited to 5 employees. Are your customers still allowed inside the food establishment? Yes, but the number of customers allowed inside at any given time is limited to 5 or less. Can I continue to operate my food truck? Yes. Are grocery stores limited to 5 customers? No. So one thing I'm telling people is that restaurants are probably safer than grocery stores right now. And so you should be getting all of your food from restaurants. And I don't think that's far-fetched. I had somebody that was in a grocery store this morning and said that there was no way to keep the 6-foot social distancing when he was in the store with other people that were in the store. So If you want to keep your 6-foot social distancing, get takeout from a restaurant. Are buffets and salad bars prohibited? No, it's not specifically prohibited, but they strongly encourage self-service practice to be suspended at this time. So you can see this and other links will be put on our website. So just keep that in mind. And we're trying to answer all the questions you have. Some of these questions came from us this weekend. We were inundated with restaurants that were being watched by both the Environment Department and state troopers that were trying to keep them to 10 or fewer employees as well as customers. And now that it's 5 or fewer, I think this is good information here, and I think it's the information that you need. I'm going to try one more time for John Garcia. Are you here? John Garcia.
Okay,
Carol, if he's still
Yeah.
not available, there are some questions on the chat as well.
Okay, good. Give me the questions on chat.
So we've got the SBA disaster loan site is down today for repair. They've started to fill out the forms, and the section that indicates the reason for the application doesn't really have a section for lost revenues and payroll purposes. Do you know what she should state in that section?
So that was on a call today. Let me see what I've got on my. So I believe it's economic injury is what you're looking for. And it's interesting that their site is down. So that's what we were talking about. You know, I wish he was on. Hold on a second. I know he's super busy right now, and maybe with the website down, he's dealing with other things. So again, John Garcia, if you're on, please unmute yourself and let me know that you're on. I keep seeing a John on here, but it's a different one. So another question.
I have something to contribute.
Yes.
I own a Subway restaurant. And one of the things that I have noticed is that there is a shortage of sanitizers. All the restaurants have the sanitizers which they're supposed to use in the 3-compartment sinks. I would start a volunteer thing where people can actually, because the sanitizers come in a concentrated form, and you cannot give those out to people. However, once we prepare the 3-compartment sinks every day to wash dishes, that is pre-mixed with water. And it would be a good idea, just as a public service gesture, to start distributing some of that to the public if the need is dire.
So let me talk with the Environment Department. I know.
Yeah, they will be the first one to offer to for emergency personnel, first people to use and all that.
So I know that they have some, they actually have a Q&A for people who are making hand sanitizer. So some of the distilleries are making hand sanitizer, and they just want to make sure that it's not bootleg, which it kind of is, but they're putting parameters around that. So let me talk to them. You're right, we do have the sanitizer in our.
Is there any way to get?
Go ahead. I heard you, but I didn't get the rest of your. Is there any way to get? And then I lost you.
Hi, this is Bob Rundle with I own a kolache factory. We took a look at using the 3-compartment SIG sanitizer, and the problem with that is it doesn't kill the virus.
Oh,
So you need yeah. So that idea is not going to work. And if you
Well,
look on the Ecolab website, they say that it's not good for killing the virus. You need something with bleach or something to kill the virus.
we were told by Subway that it does kill. They
Well,
They've done
yeah.
their own testing, and the ones that we are using in Subway restaurants.
Is it the Ecolab brand? Or?
No, it's not Ecolab.
Okay. What brand is it? I don't know.
Top of my head right now, I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Well, perhaps that does kill it, but the Ecolab doesn't.
Okay, yeah, so that would be good if we as an industry have a little dialogue and double check our facts, which now that you mentioned this up, I'm gonna definitely go up the food chain to Subway headquarters and double check that this is right, what they're telling us, that it does disinfect. And if it does disinfect, then we will share that knowledge with Carol, and then Carol can put it out.
I have something on this sanitizer issue. I think the issue is contact time, and the sanitizers we use, the quaternary sanitizers from Ecolab and everybody else that we're talking about for our 3-compartment sinks, those are designed to have dishes sit in that liquid for a certain amount of time. The hand sanitizers we're talking about work totally different and don't have the contact time requirements that the sanitizers we're referring to that we use for cleaning dishes have. They're different chemicals, so we have to be careful when we're talking about saying that these sanitizers don't work, because it's not true. Ecolab sanitizer works in its context of sanitizing dishes that are sitting in the sanitizer for the approved amount of contact time. That liquid is not designed to be a hand sanitizer, and that's why Ecolab says it doesn't kill COVID-19. It's not on the dishes, it's in the hand sanitizer aspect.
Okay, well,
that's good information, and I thank you both. You'll see where I'm pointing here with my screen. They have come up with a temporary policy for preparation of alcohol-based hand sanitizers. So I will talk to them about any kind of other sanitizers that we could put out possibly. Even I believe a lot of our liquid sanitizers in the right concentration, obviously they kill the virus. I wouldn't necessarily use them for a hand sanitizer, but if there are no more sanitizers out there and we could sell bottles of this with the right amount so that it kills the COVID virus, I think, and if we could sell that out our doors, if grocery stores don't have it, it may be important that somebody does have it and that we could sell that. Jeffrey, do you have an idea about that, or?
Yeah, I think it's a huge risk, because how do you make sure that this home sanitizer that we're all creating and going to sell, that it's actually going to do the job? I think we should concentrate on being restaurants and let the chemical companies concentrate on creating sanitizer.
I agree with
washing
that.
hands works. Sanitizer is a shortcut that doesn't really work. Washing hands is the key. Hand sanitizers is just a shortcut.
I appreciate it.
I agree with that.
I agree with Jeff.
But I think we should be, not just to sell, but as an industry, we have to help in just sanitizing surfaces, because of course, you wipe down a table in a hospital, you can leave the sanitizer on there.
Now, I'm not going to tell you how to do your job, but there's no way I'm going to provide a chemical like that outside of my business, because say someone buys it and thinks they're protecting themselves and they still get sick. Now my business is on the line because I told them that this sanitizer that I'm selling works.
I'm not
in the business of selling chemicals.
Okay, sir. I'm not talking about selling it in the first place, number one. What I was saying as an industry, if we can reach out to the health department, people who are on the front line, if there is a way, if this is one avenue they haven't looked at, we can donate and help in this coronavirus crisis that every one of us is affected. That's only contribution I had on that.
So I don't think he's talking about making our own, but just giving them what we might have already purchased, if it's what they would use in the healthcare environment anyway, and some of it is. So, okay, so another question, Dion?
Let's see. Felipe had a good tip for us about the disaster relief loans. There is actually, when you choose economic damages, it's going to open up something about applying to COVID-19. So you do have an option to do that. One of the questions I had today from our chat box was about sick leave, and that when you're applying for the government assistance, you have to provide the required sick leave, but if they've already laid off all of their employees, how can that be applicable to get the assistance?
So that's a really good question, and we're going to get, that was actually asked on a call earlier today for the National Restaurant Association. I'm going to get clarification, but what they said that they believe that you could bring them back and use the next line of, so you can bring your employees back and use this next line of relief that's coming from the federal government to pay your payroll instead of having them on unemployment. So it is to the government's benefit that they are not on unemployment. It is to your benefit to have them on your payroll. And so I will get that clarified, but that is one of the things that we're asking with the new federal bill. Does it allow for us to bring back those employees and then have a loan that pays them off and that is eventually forgiven?
Hey, Carol.
Yeah.
I have a question regarding just that issue of unemployment. I thought I had heard from Workforce Solutions that they were allowing employees to apply with just reduced hours. Is that the case, or? That
is what I've been told as well. Do you have evidence to the contrary?
No, it was just when you were talking about, when you were talking about sick leave and how, you know, the federal government would have an interest in, you know, the workers not being on unemployment. That question came up, and I was wondering if that is the case, that employees that are still employed but just with reduced hours can still apply for unemployment.
That was what I understood. I think it's really hard to get through on the unemployment website right now.
Right.
But yes, I believe that even restricted hours, they can apply for unemployment.
Okay, thanks.
And again, that shouldn't go against your account. So to me, that was big news today, because we've been asking for the unemployment or workforce development office to do that from the very beginning.
So,
hey, Carol,
Yeah.
we've had several of our employees who have gone to try and do that and have not been able to navigate that. I was actually tomorrow going to go try to go through it with one of our employees and see if I could figure it out.
So is that because they have reduced hours?
Yes.
Okay. So when you do that, would you please, if it works, don't get back to me. If it doesn't work, get back to me. I'm on the phone pretty much daily with Bill McCamley, and he's been very helpful, but I need to know if that doesn't work. I will make sure that we talk to him about how we get that working, because that was just one of the two things that they were going to allow from the very beginning, was that you don't have a work search requirement, and you can, if your employees are on part-time, they can get a reduced benefit.
I got a question for that. Once you get some more clarification on that, would you be able to send us via email or whatever best way possible a link which employees can follow that we can share?
Good question. I have been looking for that link on their website. Yeah, so this is the workforce development website. and this is where our employees will go. There is a short video here. The problem is the links are just find a job and then earn while you learn.
Correct. Is there a special link they are creating for just to end the coronavirus?
I think this is it, the individual login, employer login. I think this is where you go to get that started, and that's where they go if they've been laid off. I know a lot of you on this call have probably already done this. So if you have any insight into that, please don't hesitate to unmute yourself and let us know if this is in fact where you go. I know a lot of our members are taking their employees through this because they either don't have a computer or they aren't computer savvy. So I do know we have some employers out there that are doing that. Any more questions? Candela, is there anything on the Facebook?
No, I've pretty much been tackling them as they've come on for Facebook.
Okay. And for those of you who don't know, we have 6 people in our office, and they are really working their butts off to figure this out so you don't have to. Again, don't hesitate to call our office. We answer the phone, and we will get you to the right person within 24 hours. So keep that in mind. I apologize profusely that the SBA director is not here. I'm going to do this one more time. John, if you were on, please unmute yourself. I don't think that's him. That's somebody's dog.
Hey, Carol.
Yeah.
We do have a chat comment from Cindy in our office. If you scroll all the way down to this workforce site, the link to the file you're looking for is in the middle column. And just to clarify for the rest of you, there are 6 people, but we're not all in the same office, so we aren't not complying with our rules. Most of us are working from home, and we've got Cindy in there holding down the fort.
And you're talking here, this general UI questions?
I am not sure. She just said scroll down on the workforce site, and the link to the file is in the middle column. So that could be the file that you're looking for. Cindy, if you want to unmute yourself and jump in, you can tell her what we're looking for.
The one thing I would tell you is please tell your employees that they need to be on this. They need to start the unemployment process immediately when they get laid off, because it takes them more than a week to process this, and then they don't get their first check until that 2nd week. And I think it's probably going to be like the end of that 2nd week now. So just for their, benefit, please tell them that. Cindy, are you on?
Cindy wrote in chat that she's unable to unmute.
All right, let me see if I can unmute. Oh, no, you know what? I don't think she has a microphone.
But she said if you go to the one above that where it says applying for benefits is the one she's referring to.
Here we go. Claimants applying for benefits. Okay. But those are just answers. So you can go there. Anyway, you guys, a lot of you already know this. If you guys will give me just a second, I'm going to call John one more time and see if we can't get him on.
Carol?
Yeah.
This is Robert Vick. I've already had employees that file for unemployment, and the forms, it's just like as if they were terminated.
Carol, John Garcia on the line.
Yay, John Garcia. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, Sorry for the delay. All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. So,
Okay.
folks, this is John Garcia, who is the District Director for the Small Business Administration offices. I promised you, John, and here he is. Thank you for being here. If you want to just go ahead and talk, you're welcome to. If there's a website I can go to that would help you talk us through it, I can do that as well.
Okay, apologize, I don't have a website up, but we've been rushing around here, as you know, with we're being inundated with a lot of phone calls. 157,000 small businesses out there, and everyone is hurting. You know, I've got 30 million small businesses across the country, and as everyone says, small business is the backbone to our country, the economy, but if that backbone gets paralyzed, we're stuck in the water here. But everybody's trying to do what we can, get the information out. So what I wanted to let your restaurateurs know, that right now the SBA, the state of New Mexico, through the SBA, has been classified as economic injury area. And the governor signed off on a declaration accepted by the SBA that New Mexico, all counties, are recognized as an economic injury disaster loan declaration, which means that a lot of small businesses qualify. So if you're a small business, a bed and breakfast, a hotel, restaurant, a liquor store, a bar, you all qualify. And so what we qualify for is the up to SBA disaster loan is offering up to $2 million in assistance per small business to provide economic support to your small business to help overcome any temporary loss or revenue that you're experiencing. The loan is a 3.75% 30-year loan for small businesses that can cover fixed debt, payroll, accounts payable, and any other bills that can't be paid because of the disaster impact. If you're a nonprofit, or if you know of nonprofits, they qualify up to 2.75%. One interesting thing that occurred on Wednesday, or day before yesterday, was that the administrator of the SBA, Jovita Carranza, signed off that the SBA disaster economic injury loan, you have 12 months before your first payment begins. So that's good news. The key is for everyone to go on site, which is the sba.gov/disaster site. Again, that is www.sba.gov/disaster. And then there's a 1-800 number that I'm asking you all to call or put the word out. It's 1-800-659-2955. That's the disaster assistance customer service number, 1-800-659-2955. Now, the headquarters office for New Mexico disaster relief on this particular thing is out of Sacramento, so I'm working with the Sacramento office. The other thing, keep in mind that this $2 million loan, it's done case by case per business, and it's coming out of the Treasury. So it's not a bank loan, it's coming out of the Department of Treasury, so it's a real different kind of loan. That's why the SBA can be a little bit more lenient. But the key factor is that if you got to have the ability to demonstrate that you could pay the loan back, it's like, you know, your 2 years of your last tax papers, all that have to be uploaded. And then a lot of people are getting online. Right now the site kind of went down for a bit because they're trying to improve the site, strengthen it, work on it a bit. They're being inundated with it. But we're asking everyone to get on site. If you're a restaurateur, I've talked to many of you that own restaurants or sandwich shops, anything like that, and I'm encouraging you to get on that website, get in there, get your application number. That's your gold ticket that they're reviewing it. And once they review the application, make sure you filled it out correctly, then a loan officer will get hold of you, and they will make a determination on how much you all need. And so, you know, we're trying to do everything we can to help these small businesses like yours those that are restaurateurs to stay in business. You know, I got a family that's in the restaurant business, and some of them are taking a hit. A lot of them have no walk-in traffic. Those of you that are you know, have a carry-out service or have some income coming in, but you are being impacted by this disaster loan. This isn't a disaster like a hurricane or a tornado or a flood. It's something we've never seen before. And so when you go on site, there should be now a button in big red letters that says EIDL for Economic Injury Disaster Loan. That's the one you got to plug into. If you hit any other site, it's going to kick you out. So I just encourage you, again, get on that site, sba.gov/disaster. Call the 1-800 number. And if you have a loan right now, an SBA loan, or you work with your banker, we're finding that many of our bankers, our lenders, are working with the client. Some of them are doing 6-month extensions, maybe just paying interest. They'll work with you. They don't want to lose you. They want to help you. So I encourage you, talk to your bankers, work with them. Hopefully you qualify for this SBA disaster loan assistance. They're trying to get the money out as fast as they can. They started this about a week and a half ago. Some of these are now coming out of the system. How many are from New Mexico? I don't know yet. I'm trying to get a number how many are in the pipeline. But that's information I wanted to share with you. I says this works right now. People are going after it. But I think in your industry, the restaurateurs, we've got to get money in you guys to get you to survive. We're a service provider state. You're one of the anchors to the state of New Mexico. I think everyone recognizes that. We're trying to help our restaurateurs as quick as we can. So I'll stand for any kind of questions that anyone has.
Thanks, John.
Yes. Go ahead, Carol.
You know, I have a question, and that is, there's some more relief that's coming from the government if they get to the bill that they're doing today. Is it better for somebody to apply for this loan now, or should we wait and look for more relief in?
You know what? It's like a you know, crapshoot waiting for some better deal to come across. I would apply for this right now. I mean, you can get qualified and you can get approved. You don't have to take the money. But the thing is that you're in the system, you got it approved. But the other one that's coming down, I don't have enough information to give you a brief on it. I'm hearing everything you're hearing. I'm watching the news. As soon as it's all approved, our administrator will put out some public information that should be hopefully correct, and we can advise everybody. All I know right now is this loan is available to you all. I would go for it. You have 30 years if you decide to get it at 3.75%. And the beauty about it is your first payment's not due until 12 months. So if you get in the system, you get approved, you've got this money access ready to be used. Or you can wait to see what comes down the pipe from, from DC, the congressional offices. But my opinion is, if I'm hurting and I need the money now to help pay payroll or keep my business from going into debt so that I can survive, I'd go after the loan now. I know that on the calls, what's going on in DC, the calls I've heard anyways, that, if some employers are still paying their employees, they'll be reimbursed. There's a whole gamut of things that's in there. How it's going to work, I can't even begin to tell you on that. I'd be glad to have a follow-up call with you all, Carol, and give a briefing on how that's going to go, because I know some of that money is going to come into the SBA and we're going to have to figure out how to administer it. But I can't even comment on that part yet. Again, for your question, I'd say I'd go in there and apply now. If depends on what your sense of urgency is.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. At least get in line, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
All right.
We have a few questions from the chat.
Go ahead.
Is there a minimum credit score needed to qualify for the SBA loan?
Is there a minimum what?
Credit score?
No, that'll be determined by the loan officer that's assigned to you all. They'll have a conversation with you, because I think on the application, you don't put in there how much you need or anything like that. That'll be determined by the loan officer that's going to be in contact with you. Just so you'll know, they've hired on about 500 more people that are coming over from FEMA to help out. But that's how they're making the determination on how much. The max is up to $2 million on it.
Okay. It looks like too, we have two related questions. The SBA site is still crashed. Can you
Yeah,
repeat?
well, it did, unfortunately. 30 million people or small business are trying to get into it. There are 6 centers across the country. Ours is in Sacramento. The first day this thing went up, LA sent in 75 applications, went in, 7,500 went in right away. So I'm telling everybody, get on. We're also advising, if you can't, get on after 7 p.m. because it seems that, it's at 5 o'clock p.m. over there, so it slows itself down. But the site went down only because they're trying to improve it. They're working on it to add some new sites, new buttons in there so that people don't get kicked out. We're getting different calls. Some people get online and they're getting kicked out once they try to upload some documents. Well, they're fixing those things right now. So I would say stay on it, get back on the site, get in there. If you have problems with it, let me know, and I'll call Sacramento, find out what's the delay going on.
Oh, is there a mail-in option?
There's a email address, that you could probably upload, I think. The key is, I'm telling everybody, some people want to fill out the application and bring it into my office. Don't do that. That'll just delay it. I'm saying get online, upload it. But there is an email address also. It's disaster customer service, all one word, disaster customer service at sba.gov. And again, the 1-800-659-2955. Those are real critical. And then again, the sba.gov/disaster website.
One more time on that email, not that we'll use it necessarily, but disaster customer service
at sba.gov.
Okay. All right.
I'm just glad that they went ahead and said your first payment won't start till 12 months from now. The last thing you all need to do, I think anybody's in small business, is pick up another debt or another loan. This one, though, it's emergency type. If a tornado tore your business apart, you'd be applying to get money to build your building again. This is a little different. And so everyone's trying to adjust. Everyone's trying to work with everybody on it. It's impacting everyone. There are some, people that are eligible, small businesses, private nonprofits, small businesses engaged in aquaculture, small agricultural co-ops. And then there's some that don't qualify, like pawn shops, real estate, life insurance, religious organizations, things like that. But the hotel, the restaurateurs, that's impacting everybody. There's a big chain reaction going on when you shut down a restaurant. Coffee shop, it's, I really feel for y'all.
Yeah, it's, the obvious things are the restaurants and then their employees, but then beyond that, there's such a chain that's set into motion.
Absolutely, and we're all aware of it. Everyone's trying to see what we can do to keep it going. I'm going to tell you, my staff's, we're in here every day. We're the only people in this building, the federal building downtown, and we're up on the 11th floor, and there's no walk-ins, no nothing, but my staff is just busy with phone calls coming in, and it's bed and breakfasts, it's sandwich shops, it's pizza shops, it's you name it, it's everything.
I have a question real quick. Do salsa manufacturing companies qualify, since we haven't been able to produce because they canceled all our events?
Yeah, you do. I've got event centers, tents and events, limousine services, that's all supported by this stuff, all being impacted, and they qualify. The only thing I'm finding that if you don't qualify is because somebody's got bad credit and they can't demonstrate they can pay the loan back, but they'll work with you on the arrangements of the loan to pay back. And that's why they went ahead and extended it, first payment starting 1 year from now. But if your business is in need of such a loan, I'd get online. I start applying for it right now, and then if it qualifies, you can decide if you want to take it or not. But at least you got qualified, and I'm finding people are going to the bank with that too, and then trying to work with their bankers on it. If you're not working your bank on the SBA Express loan, that's a $350,000 line of credit. So I'd go talk to my bankers about that as well. You know, we have 9 other loan packages that the banks work with us on as well. This is a unique one right now.
So John, if we could just revisit the credit score question that's come up again. Has there been any inclination that they're going to change the, low credit score rules because this is a disaster?
All I can tell you is they're taking it case by case. I've heard discussions, I've got a lot of people are inquiring about that. Some people are asking, are they going to go into a grant instead of a loan? I don't have any answers on those. I think everyone's trying to adjust to this, but if you have a low credit score and you have that discussion, they're taking it case by case. That's all I can tell you. And I think they want to make sure you have the ability to pay the loan back. Because see, this isn't coming from the bank; it's coming from the Department of Treasury. It's a little different structure, and they've allowed the SBA to implement this loan. And what launched it was getting the governor to fill out the application, get her to sign it, and then we were able to get all the counties in the state of New Mexico designated. And that's now across the country. Everybody's jumping on board. So I'm anxious to see how many of these loans are starting to get approved. I have no idea how many are in the pipeline. I'm trying to find that out.
So,
for New Mexico anyway. I know we got 157,000 small businesses, and they're all being impacted, all of them. The interesting thing, the ones that aren't being impacted, just for discussion's sake, is that the janitorial companies, they're busy. Extremely busy, because they're coming in cleaning down the buildings 3-4 times a day. So there's some that are benefiting from it and some that are hurting.
Well, even in the restaurant industry, I think those restaurants that are traditionally takeout are and have
they're swamped.
The windows, they're fairly busy. I'm not going to say they're swamped. I know their business is down. But some of them are doing quite well.
We try to order pizza in here, and they said we got a 4-hour wait.
Yeah, well, yes, definitely. So one thing I want to tell everybody is that there is some part of the federal bill that's coming out today, or supposed to be signed today, that has disaster relief. And I want to say it's like $10,000 grants for businesses. It's not a whole lot of money, but that's what we're hearing. Don't hold me to that, because it had not been signed by the time I was on the call this morning. And they're also talking about lowering the credit score for those people who can prove that they can get.
Yeah, you're correct. They're trying to make it easier. Is what they're doing, and they're looking at all that. Hopefully, as soon as I think it passed the Senate, it's on the House side. I don't have all the facts on it. I'm watching it like you all are, and we're just waiting to see what comes out of it. I know there was discussions on businesses that under 500 or small businesses under 500 will be reimbursed. Their employers will be reimbursed if they've been paying their employees. If you're under 50 employees, they're thinking of waiving that, making exemption for businesses with 50 or less employees. They want to try to get the money in people's hands ASAP. We can't afford to have our economy to stop. So the bill's got many pieces to it, and we're anxious to see what comes out, because I know some of that is going to come through the SBA. Some may be in terms of grants, some may be in terms of loans. I really couldn't speak to all that yet, Carol, until I get all my facts down. And
I know. I'm trying not to speak to it either, but I want to give people some kind of hope.
Well, I believe there's a lot of hope coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
Even the state's working on, some initiatives for small businesses. I think what we're going to end up having is a lot of initiatives out there to assist small businesses and keep them moving, keep them going. So we're just at the tip of it right now. And so the stimulus bill, $2 trillion. Imagine that, $2 trillion. I can't imagine what that looks like, but I know part of that was, I think they said 50 billion was going to come into the SBA to administer. How we're going to do that, I don't know yet. We're told to wait to see what the directions we get from our administrator. So that's the best I can tell you on that note. But I'm optimistic for small businesses. We have to be.
John, do you have time for a few more questions?
Yeah, sure. I hope I can answer them.
Great. So I'm wondering if you have any inclination of the turnaround time from when someone starts the application before they can see funds distributed?
They're telling me 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You got to get into it, because by the time you get the application in, and they review it, and they get the loan officer in, and then they make whatever arrangements. They're saying they're doing as fast as they can. And so this thing hit a week and a half ago, and they're already starting to get some of these applications out. And you know, there's been some that have been denied. Let me tell you that. But there are some that are also being approved. This is across the country, not just here in New Mexico. But get in the system, and those that are being denied is because maybe they bad credit, they didn't fill out the application correctly or something. But I'm saying, if you're denied, get back in there, call that 1-800 number, find out what it is you need to do to get that thing done. As long as you get that your application number, that's your communication number. And anytime you're going to communicate, use that application number. So we're getting a lot of people they're getting in, they're getting an application number, and there's dialogue going on. So I'm just saying, get in there and do that.
So, and when there are parts of the application that may not be applicable to this disaster, do they just put NA? Like there's
Right, exactly. Like we had one client get in there, and they were stuck on a question about building damage. I said, you're in the wrong site, then you hit the wrong button. That's the button which is like if a hurricane or tornado came through our community. It's the EIDL button. And so what they did, they shut the system down. They went back and redid that and made it big, bold red, so people couldn't miss it.
Okay, so
but
make sure you're applying with the EIDL specific application.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
So you know, as it goes, as a business any size, you can borrow up to $2 million. There's a 3-step process: applying for the loan, then they'll do a verification of property and the loan processing decision. Then the 3rd step, they close it and they fund and disperse the funds to you all. And they're moving quickly on this thing. The administrator said on a conference call with all the SBA offices, as they're working eagerly to get this money out. It's the same process if we'd been hit by a major, Mother Nature catastrophe like a tornado or hurricane or earthquake, like Katrina went through. FEMA and SBA teamed up, and their task is we got to get these businesses up and running. I mean, without that, it has this ripple effect big time.
Great.
Good afternoon, John or Carol. This is Ramona Reese with the New Mexico Commission for the Blind.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a simple question. I'd like to know how this is. We have blind vendors that work in government facilities that handle vending throughout the facilities. How does this impact them as business owners with their employees, being that some of them only have maybe 1 employee up to 5 employees? And are they considered an essential business? So can they continue with their business?
Yeah, they can continue, and they qualify as well. I mean, we've got a gentleman here that's part of your association there, and he's blind. He's got his machines where he stocks them. I mean, he's a small business owner. He qualifies also. I kept thinking you were going to ask me, do we have this in Braille? And I just made a note down. It'd be good to have, but we also have it.
Well, it would be actually, because we do
have.
Yeah,
it would. I'm going to run that question upstairs to find out if this is available in Braille. There is also a 1-800 number for. I believe I've got a number. I'll have to get. I don't have it in front of me for the hearing impaired.
Okay.
And your question for our blind vendors, how do I get information to them? I do have it in Spanish though, if it's available, the information. And Carol, I'll send you what I've got, and that way you can disseminate it to everybody.
That would be great. Yeah. And we'll get something out in our alert tomorrow, just kind of recapping this.
Yeah, I'll send you as soon as I'm done. I'll send you the information I've got. That way you can decide what you want to put out. But it's all the same. We're saying the same message. We've been doing conference calls like with Secretary of Economic Development. We had 1,100 people on the call, and then I spoke with all the Chamber of Commerce directors day before yesterday, just trying to get the word out to everybody. Our congressional delegations holding conference calls. We're putting out the same info. So
good. We certainly appreciate it, and I want to respect everybody's time. It's 2 minutes after the hour. John, thank you so much for your information.
You bet. Let me give you my number if anyone wants to call me back later with any kind of questions. You can reach me at my direct number here. My office is 248-8238. You can call our reception office, 248-8225. My deputy, Ivan Corrales, is tracking those calls, and we're returning them as quick as we get them. All my staff is available to answer any kind of questions to assist you. You can also email me, john.garcia@sba.gov. So this is and we're in Albuquerque. I'd be glad to talk to any of you guys, see what we can do to help you all out. I've been getting a lot of calls from a lot of restaurateurs. Several are already getting on the line and getting their numbers and their application number going. So hopefully we can help them out.
Good. Everybody else get online and get that going. I just want to let you all know that, again, Thursday, we're going to have the folks from Shamrock talking about interesting and innovative things that restaurants are doing during this time. And then on Friday, we'll have Antonia Roybal-Mack talking to us about deciphering the 2 federal bills that will have been signed by the time Friday rolls around. So I think that's going to be really important for everybody on here, just, you know, to figure out how to get to these federal programs. The SBA is one of the most important ways right now to get to these programs. So get your application started. And again, if you get down to it and you have other modes of getting funding, that's fine, but get this started. So thank you so much, John. Thank you to my staff and everybody that's on here. We really appreciate it. And we'll keep doing these calls every day at the same place, same bat time. And we'll start doing them Facebook Live if that's working.
Right. And if I get any update information, Carol, I'll get hold of you, and then you could maybe bring everybody in. A sidebar note, we got an interesting suggestion to do kind of like New Mexico Restaurant Strong, list the restaurants if anyone wants to buy like a restaurant card for future meals down the road. That may help some, but that's just a suggestion that came down on a call.
We appreciate it.
We do have
All right, ma'am. Anything we can do to help out, we're here to help you guys. Please call us.
Okay.
Thank you, John.
And for those of you who want all of John's contact information, it's coming up on the chat. Again, I thank you all for being here, and we'll do it again tomorrow. See you then.
Stay healthy, guys. Take care.
Bye, John.